Have a good day. This is Madeline Tripolit, BIS IT2A. Welcome to Network Basic, Application Layer Functionality and Protocols. Application layer is basically not a function, but it performs application layer functions. The application layer is actually an abstraction layer that specifies the shared protocols and interface method used by hosts in a communication network. Application layers help us to identify communication partners and synchronizing communication. Applications provide the means for generating and receiving data that can be transported on the network. Application layer provides an interface between the user and the network via network application. Application layer protocols are required for network-to-user interaction as well as resolving compatibility issues. They allow users' application to access network services such as database, query manager, file access, and the like. Application layers protocols are responsible for transmitting service information, providing error data to application, and forming requests at the submission level. So in Chapter 3, the world experiences the network through the use of the World Wide Web, email, and file sharing programs. So these applications, as well as others, provide the human interface to the underlying network, allowing you to send and receive information with relative ease. Most of applications are intuitive. DB access and use without the need to know how they work. As you continue to study the world of networking, it becomes more important to know how an application is able to format, transmit, and interpret messages that are sent and received across the network. So, visualizing the mechanism that enable communication across the network is made easier if you the layered network of the Open System Interconnection or OSI model. The OSI model is a 7-layer model designed to help explain the flow of information from layer to layer. So in application layer, the application layer of OSI model provides the first step of getting data onto the network. And application are the software programs used by people to communicate over the network. Like, for example, application software is including the HTTP and FTP and email and others are used to explain the difference between these two concepts. The OSI reference model is layered abstract representation created as guideline for network protocol design and instructions. So the OSI model divides the network process into 7 logic layers, each of which has unique functionality and to which are assigned specific services and protocols. So in the OSI model, information is passed from layer to the next, starting at the application layer on the transmitting host and proceeding down the hierarchy to the physical layer. The passing over the communication channel to the destination host, where the information proceeds back up the hierarchy in ending the application layer. So the layers are layer 1, which is physical layer, layer 2, data link, and layer 3 is network, and layer 4, transport, layer 5 is session, and layer 6 is presentation. And layer 7 is application. So the application layer in the OC model is the layer that is closest to the end user. It receives information directly from user and displays incoming data to the user. Oddly enough, applications themselves do not reside at the application layer. Instead, the layer facilitates the communication through lower layers in order to establish connection with application at the other end. So web browser, Google Chrome, Fireworks, Safari, etc., Telnet and FTP are examples of communication that rely on layer 7. So the presentation layer represents the area that is independent of data representation at the application. From application layer in general, it represents the presentation, preparation, or translation of application format to network format, or from network formatting to application format. In other words, the layer represents or presents data from application or the network. A good example of this encryption and description of data for secure transmission. This happened at layer 6. So when two computers or other network devices need to speak with one another, a session needs to be created, and this is done at the session layer. Functions at this layer involve setup, coordination, how long should a system wait for a response, for example, and termination between the application of each end of the session. The transport layer deals with the coordination of the data transfer between end system and host, how much data to send, at what rate, which or where it is goes, etc. The best known example of the transport layer is the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, which is built on top of the Internet Protocol, or IP, commonly known as TCP/IP. TCP and UDP port numbers work at layer 4, while IP addresses work at layer 3, the network layer. Most TCP/IP application layer protocols were developed before the emergence of personal computers, GUIs, and multimedia objects. As the result, these protocols implement little of the functionality that is specified in the OC model presentation and session layers. DNS is used to resolve Internet names to IP addresses. HTTP is used to transfer files that make up the web pages of the World Wide Web. SMTP is used for the transfer of mail messages attachments. Telnet, a terminal emulation protocol, is used to provide remote access to service and network devices. FTP is used for the interval file transfer between systems. So here's the conclusion. So there are many different application layer protocols. Each of them enables network communication with user and vice versa. The most vital aspect is choosing the right protocol So in the conclusion, there are many different application layer protocols. Each of them enables network communication with user and vice versa. The most vital aspect is choosing the right protocol to solve a particular problem. When you are choosing an application layer protocol, things like data structure, coding, efficiency, the device type, reliability, security, and other similar things need to be considered. The wrong choice can be waste a lot of your time and some of financial resources until you can finally solve the problem and achieve the desired result. So that's all for this, for chapter 3, application layer functionality and protocols. And thank you. Hope you learned something from this video.